Morning guys, Sunday the 13th of the 3rd 2022, all at Allotment Allotment again here. And I've just spotted this hammer hanging on here that Tony's left out yesterday. Never mind, we've spotted it, we can take it back in and retrieve it. Right, so I'm just about to go in the shed. Check for leaks. And everything's looking good. It's blown an absolute hooligan. Again, the sun is out, but last night, boy was I pleased we'd got this finished. It opened up from the high heavens and it was coming down like stair rods. It was absolutely pouring down. The winds got up, they swung round in the direction the forecast, started coming from the north, this way on, and am I pleased we got this done, guys. But I'm looking, and so far with the amount of rain it put down last night, if there was going to be any leaks on this roof, they would be here now. And it's looking bone dry, thankfully. It looks like the water's falling okay. Now there is one or two spots here where we've got old screw holes on the underside of the ridge, which means if water runs down there it could find its way in, but it hasn't. But we can put a dab of silicone on there if we have to. We seem to have a bit of a low spot here. I don't know if you can just see that water settled in the middle, but it's not coming in, that's the main thing. We've got good overlaps. And there's some more there. But it's not coming through, that's the main thing, guys. So yeah, I'm a happy chappy. Boy, I can't believe how much warmer it is in here than outside at the moment. So we've just done and fed and watered all the birds. And been a quick check of the polytunnel. Things are coming along okay in there. And I'm just about to go and make a cup of coffee. Catch you in a minute. Morning guys, welcome back to Alan's Allotment. Thanks for all your likes, dislikes, subscriptions and your comments, as always. I really do appreciate it, guys. Subscription numbers are climbing nicely now. I think we've hit over the 800 mark. We're nearly there at the 1,000. We maybe will get there by the end of this year. Yesterday, or the last video you've seen, I said I was thinking about doing a project for heating this place. So yes, I have a generator, I have electric heaters, I have the little gas heater. But one comes with the problem with dragging up a generator, firing it up, running extension leads at this moment in time to get the electric heater on. And to be honest, it isn't brilliant, but it's okay. And the little gas heater is great if I pull it straight up underneath me, but then you've got the fumes from the gas. So I was looking around for an idea of how I can heat this place this size with something more effective and more economical. And I stumbled upon a diesel heater. And from what I've already seen on YouTube channels, they've done a bit of investigation. They seem to be very, very cost effective to run. And what's the biggest advantage is you can run them on a car battery. And you can, there's people done tests on these, you can get up to you can get up to 8 hours and more, depending on the size of your leisure battery, but you can pretty much get 8 hours of constant use on a tank of diesel, or rather that tank of diesel for the device, and a leisure battery. So the other bonus is the generator has the advantage of charging the batteries up quickly if I needed to, if it gets to the point where the solar charger can't handle it. However, if I put 2 solar panels out there, 200 watt ones, then there's a good possibility they'll cope with it and trickle charge it as we're using it as well. And I don't believe that we'll use anywhere near what we need for to run the diesel heater. And from everything that I've researched, they do appear to be the most economical form of heating for a shed or a large garage or something like that. They're used in motorhomes and vans predominantly. But I thought, yeah, we'll give that a whirl. So I've got myself one. I'm just waiting a bit of feedback from someone, and then we'll do that project. It won't be today, but I'll probably go and make a start on getting the solar panels and recovering the solar panels, and think about how we're going to fix them out here today, something like that. Wire up an amp meter onto those batteries so we can see what draw we're taking off. And I'm also thinking about replacing the solar controller up there, because the digital display is not quite good enough. So I've got a new solar controller charger that's arrived, and apparently it gives a bit more information, like the volts left in your battery and the amperage that's coming from your solar panels as well. So we're probably going to do something like that today, guys. Right guys, I've just been having a bit of a tidy up in this shed, putting stuff away and tidying a lot of stuff away, breaking cardboard up. We're keeping the cardboard for the allotment. So I've now fitted the new solar charge controller. And this one, this is the one I opted for. I'm not sure how clear you'll see the display. But basically it alternates between what the solar panel is putting out, which is 14 volts, the temperature on the battery at 21 volts, and then 13.2 volts is still what the battery is sitting at. But the only thing that's being drawn from that currently is this weather station that we bought. And this is an outside temperature and an inside temperature. But you can see it fluctuates quite a lot. It also has a little clock in the top corner, day and date and month. But to be honest with you, it's pretty rubbish, but it looks effective. And then the next thing we got ourselves was a silent clock. Nice big clock just so we can see it sitting down, and a quick glance up there. I'm always looking to see what time it is, and I have to press the button on the watch, but if I've got this here sitting there now. But just another little job jobbed. Right guys, I've just condemned this weather station, and it's actually the user that's useless, not this. What I discovered, I thought this was the internal temperature sender, and that was the external one. And I was wondering why it was flicking backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards. This one here, 12, sorry guys, let's start again. Temperature you see there now, 15.6 or 15.5, my eyes, is actually in the polytunnel. That's the external outdoor sensor, and it's reaching right down to that polytunnel and still picking up the temperature. And it tells me the humidity in there as well. That one there, 12.7, is the internal, is this sensor here. So it comes with two of these. And the white one, it appears, is the internal one. Took me a bit of time to fathom this out because the instructions aren't very clear. But it turns out the white one is the internal temperature sender. That's what it is in here now, 12.7. As you can see, and it's actually accurate. I've been and checked the polytunnel as well, and it was 15.6 when I was down there. I think that's what that says now. No, 15.5. So this is actually better than I thought it was. It's quite accurate, guys. So it's a useful piece of equipment. I didn't actually think the wireless signal would reach right down to the polytunnel, but it does. So now I can see what it is in here, and I can also see what it is down in the polytunnel at a glance from the seat. Right guys, I'm up on the roof again, and I've just been fixing the solar panel up, as you can see. So I decided we would just put it on the outside here. Now, people may be able to see me walking down this path, and in the past I've threw bricks on here and broken all the perspex sheets, and hence the reason why it's all now tin all the way across. I have to just keep my fingers crossed. Maybe I can build, not today because it's too cold, too windy, maybe build a little frame with netting with some strong mesh, not really strong mesh, raised up a bit on this just to protect it, so if they do throw a stone over it won't damage the solar panel. I've fed the cables underneath the sheets and through and into the dry area now, guys, so I'm just going to go back down. Right guys, back in now. It's warmer in here, out of the wind and the rain, so I've just done another little job while I came in. I just put a couple of screws in here and I've hung these ladders up here, so we've got nice easy access now without having to fight getting them in and out of the shed. They're just on the wall now. Anytime I need them I can just lift them off and straight out the door. Another jobbed. So here you see we have the wires coming through. They're not long enough obviously, and I'm being very careful to make sure because there's voltage going through this, guys, already. And what we don't want to do is have it shorten out. So I deliberately pushed the black one through a bit further than the red one because I was on my own and I couldn't stop them touching any other way. So I came this side of the beam with that one, with a live, and we came that side with the negative, which we will just, for now, poke it through there, and that way it can't come to any harm. Actually what we'll do is we'll take these cables and we'll feed them up close against here, straight into the shed now. The job's a good one, but we'll leave plenty of space Actually, second thoughts, I'll put a bit of duct tape over that one, because the red one is now, because it comes the other side of the beam, going to be a tad shorter than the black one, but we can join once we get inside the shed, guys. Right, while I was over there retrieving the solar panel, I brought another little solar charge controller. I actually like these. I can't remember whether it still works or not because it wasn't hooked up, and I found another light that was over in the chicken shed, which we fitted up once to see if we could get any extra eggs through the winter month. We put it on a timer, and to be honest, it didn't make any difference, so we brought that back over with us as well and dismantled all this lot from inside the chicken shed. Right guys, another jobbed. We've brought the cables in now, joined them to an extra length, taped them up so they can't short out on each other. I know it's not tidy, but it's doing the job, and they're internal, guys. So running it along here, down this back wall, and into a second charge controller. So we've now got two power sources. We've got this new one we put in earlier that feeds all the lights and everything, and then we've got this one here. But what I do like about this one, so we've got a battery on charge here now. We've got two batteries going and charging simultaneously now, and then we've got this one under here, which is being run by this and feeding this off the USB. So what we've got now is we've got this one being topped up now as well. I'm not sure how well you're going to be able to see this, guys, but so basically what this one does, and bear in mind, guys, there's no sunlight at all. It's pouring down and blowing a gale. So we're getting about between 900 and 1200 milliamps out of that solar panel. When you get full sun on there, you get about 5 amps an hour. But at the moment it's trickle charging this with about anywhere between 900 and 1200 milliamps. But the battery is good, it's at 13.6. So that's what I like about this particular one. The LCD leaves a lot to be desired, guys, but it also has a USB out as well, and it also has terminals there to the right that I can take 12 volt feeds off as well, just like the other charge controller. But I like this one because it displays what the panel is putting back in amps. Very few of them do that. So I know there's only between 900 and 1200 milliamps going into that, because it's 0 point. But even on a very, very low reading, it's still sensitive enough to pick up that it is charging. Right guys, time for a cup of coffee. We're going to have a bit of fun. So what I've done is I've made up a fly lead from this battery here. And I'm just checking to see if the leads are getting hot. They're actually okay, so those wires must be thick enough. Runs round here. Comes up to an amp meter. And as you can see, this is drawing 11 amps. 108 watts. And that's what it's used so far. 97.5 watts. 8.89 volts. This is our load out. You only get a little tiny length of cable with these meters, unfortunately. So we've got this protected by a foam backing. This one's already taped up as well, but I don't want to tape this up because this bit ultimately just runs to a cigarette lighter. This is just a cigarette lighter hooked to it. From there, we're up to the kettle. Power light on. And hopefully you can be able to see in here. You can see it's starting to boil. Or at least it's heating up. Now there's a litre of water in there, guys. I'm going to time it. It's 2:30 now. I'm going to see how long does it take to boil, and 2, how much do we drain from this battery in that time. Now these are normally to plug into a cigarette lighter on a car engine whilst you're running the alternator as well, and they work much better. This is simply pulling just straight from a battery. But you can see we've only used, so we're pulling 11 point, it's supposed to be 14 amp this, 170 watts, which is 14 amp is what it says on the box, is what it should be. So we've pulled 10.93 amps if I'm right, 8.5 kilowatt hours. I'm not sure what VM is, or WP, or watts per hour, perhaps that one. .96 watts, it's supposed to be rated at 170 watts. And it looks like it's only drawing 8.81 volts, unless that's the state of the battery. But I very much doubt it. That's more likely to be the battery. As you turn the switch off, that should go back up. No, that's what it's actually drawing. So put the power back on. Yeah, it's drawing 10 amps. Just short of 11 amps. And the one below will give us our final reading when it's finished of exactly how many amps in the time it took to boil we pulled out of that. Let's see what happens, guys. Right guys, as you can see, I'm having my cup of coffee. However, we're still waiting for the kettle to boil. I've used this one. I've got fed up of waiting. So the test's still ongoing. It's now 10 to 4, so it's been on 20 minutes. And I was beginning to wonder whether it was actually doing anything at all. But it is. And the meter is stabilising out now, and it's giving a good reading. The sun's now trying to get out, and it's warming up slightly, but the winds are still really, really bad. I'm going to spin you around now and give you a quick look. Right guys, so the test's still ongoing. It's now 10 to 4. It's now 20 degrees in the polytunnel and 12 degrees in here. But that's because the sun's shining on the polytunnel now, guys. And the internal temperature of this unit is 13 degrees. You've got 20 degrees in the polytunnel now. So, we're still hooked up. And I've worked out we're pulling a steady 10.73 amps, 7.2, 7.3 amps. We're using 100, I'm not sure what the 100 is. We're using 4.3 amp hours so far. That's what we've used. It's supposed to be a 12 volt kettle, but this is the load side and it's only drawing 8.66 volts. And it's only drawing 92.8 watts when it's a 170 watt kettle. At least that's what the manufacturer's specifications are of this kettle. Now at 170 watts it would be pulling 14 amps. So whether it's due to the fact there's no alternating current recharging the battery, it's dropping the temperature, I'm not sure, dropping the voltage and wattage, I'm not sure. But as you can see, it's still on. And you may now be able to see steam coming from it. So, this is probably going to backfire on me big style. Steam up the camera. You can see now we've got steam coming off here. And put my finger in there, it's actually quite hot. But I reckon that's going to be at least another 20 minutes before it reaches boiling point. So, I'm not even going to complete the test. We'll conclude that it's not cost effective to boil. Don't get me wrong, in an emergency if you had nothing else, only a 12 volt cigarette lighter and a 12 volt kettle, you could eventually boil it. And if you had the car engine running as well, it would boil quicker and it would draw the correct, I've no doubt it would draw the correct volts and watts and significantly boil, and boil significantly quicker. This was just for a bit of fun, guys. So what I'm going to do is knock it off and see if it gives me a final reading. There we have, I've turned it off now. And it should tell us exactly what the total amp hours was used. If my reading's right, it's 4.7. I'm not sure why it's got AP there. Because that's amp hours, 4.7. 48 watt hours, 11.5 amps, yeah, drawn 11 point, maybe peaked at 11.5 amps. Yeah, 5.8 amps. But I believe what it actually drew out of the battery was 4.7 amps. In 25 minutes, if you double that, so you're going to be looking at taking about 8 amps out of the battery just to boil a litre of water. Really not cost effective, that, guys. It was just a bit of fun, a little bit of an experiment, and I've enjoyed just messing about today. Basically, we've got the big 120 amp leisure battery on, topping up from this one here now. Now earlier on, because this one sat with no charge on it for a while, you can see it's now peaked out at 13.6. That's the battery itself, and it's still trickling with 230 around 250 milliamps. But it did actually get up to 1 amp earlier on when the sun struck. But as soon as the voltage reached 13.6, they're designed to stop pushing that much power to them and just trickle charge them to keep them maintained. And that's exactly what the solar charger controller does. Once it knows that battery's full, they either turn off altogether or they drop the voltage coming from the solar panel just to maintain the battery. So, tickety-boo. So we've got 2 set up now. We can charge that battery, we can charge this battery, and we've had a little bit of fun testing boiling the kettle. However, right guys, I hope you've enjoyed today's little video. Just a little bit of messing about really. Still got jobs done, but thankfully nothing like all last weekend and yesterday. So I've just been pottering today basically, but still getting work done. As you can see, we've now got a secondary charge controller fitted with 2 batteries on the go now being charged constantly. Got the solar panel up on the roof fixed. Excuse me. And that's excuse me. And that's the better solar panel, obviously. That's a 100-watt solar panel. Sorry about the audio when I was up on the roof, but basically what I was trying to say there was I'm going to try and make a 2-inch framing all round that. Oh, by the way, it's screwed to those lats in the roof as well, by the way, guys, on little lugs on each side of the solar panel. But I'm going to try and make a 2-inch framing round there with some of this really stiff, strong mesh. So if anything does get through over, it doesn't damage the solar panel. Let's just hope we get that job done before it happens. Otherwise, it'll be an expensive swap out. Let's just hope, fingers crossed, that people aren't going to come along and break that before I get round to getting it sorted, guys. So then we had our little play with the 12-volt kettle. I just wanted to do a quick test on that, and I brought the amp meter over as well from the chicken shed, which I had used and running these lights, by the way. I think they're only about, they draw about half an amp each light, an hour for each light. So you could run them all day practically on that, and well, you do the maths. It uses next to nothing at all out of the batteries. I'm actually quite pleased with the little weather station. I was too quick to condemn it until I did. When I say read the instructions properly, it didn't actually tell you anything that I discovered. It was trial and error, and I worked it out by simply taking the other temperature sender down to the polytunnel, checked the temperature down there, and then came back and checked it on here, and I can see now that the fluctuating between the 2 temperatures is the internal one and the external one. What was throwing me was the temperature on the other side is actually the internal temperature that it's of the unit itself. Now you have batteries in as a backup. It takes two or three AAA batteries, so that if the power dropped off the USB, it would maintain the time and everything and all the readings. But in order to get the screen to illuminate, you do need to have it connected to a 5-volt supply as well, which is what that solar controller charger supplies to it. So all in all, I'm actually quite pleased with that little buy. I've enjoyed my day today, just pottering about, and more importantly, most of the time, other than being on the roof to fix the solar panel, I've been sat in the shed and just pottering, doing little jobs. But it's another couple of jobs, guys. It's coming along tickety-boo. I can't wait to get my diesel heater fitted now. I also discovered while I was over at in the garage, a long time ago, I got a little wood burning stove, which I never ever got round to getting fitted. So we can probably see another project coming along, guys, in the other side of this shed with the wood burning stove as well. Or We'll see how the diesel heater performs and if it heats the whole place, and then it will get fitted in the garage when we get that sorted and tidied out, he says. Right guys, for now I've babbled on long enough. Hope you've enjoyed today's little video, something different, and I hope perhaps you've learned something as well. Don't forget to like, dislike, subscribe, leave a comment below. All much appreciated guys. And for now, wherever you are in the world, please stay safe, be practical, keep yourselves out of harm's way. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video.